What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about SwiftCoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Here we are at about 1.4 cents. I wanted to say we're doing this at the request of Hoover. Shout out to Hoover. Here we are on the 26th of April at about 1.437 cents right now. Consolidating, moving sideways, right? We're in this bull flag formation, at least it seems to be. Have we broken out? We could have, or maybe we're doing this thing where we're still in it. It just looks like we've broken out. We've just broken out of this relative consolidation, but ultimately we're still in it. Who knows? That could happen. That's it's a very real possibility with XCN too. I mean, we could have done a very similar thing. Perhaps we're still in this bull flag overall, but time will tell. Overall, this kind of behavior after a massive movement like this and just moving sideways essentially makes me very bullish. It makes me think you will continue to move up. This is very, very good. This is like stair-stepping behavior, and this is what you want to see. Whenever it comes to the RSI, sorry guys, my voice, hold on. That's going to give me like 5 seconds. Whenever it comes to the RSI, we are looking good, getting overbought, finding support above the 50. That's always encourageable. It's nice to see. And I think as long as we're holding above these lows, you don't have anything to worry about to the downside. If we do go below the lows, if we do see something that's, let's say, below 1.3 cents, 1.29 cents. If we go below there, likely you would continue down to about 1 cent, 1.08 cents, somewhere in that area. But I'm not calling for that. That's not the call. In fact, right now you actually look productive, finding support on the 0.5, getting above the 382, finding support on the 382. Now you just need to get above the 236. So SwiftCoin, you get above the 236, you're getting above this resistance point here, but also the 236, 1.5772 cents. It's nice to get above there because that validates this as a low, and it also validates the idea that you're about to break out of this, get above this high here. So, which would also imply that you're going to break out of this bull flag. Now, this bull flag has a measured move from the low to the high, not the actual low, but just like the low of the flag, which I feel like that day is appropriate there. That measure move takes you all the way up to about 3.2 cents, okay? 3.2 cents is the measure move. It's not a requirement. You don't have to go here. Also, you don't have to stop here. You could exceed that, right? We could see prices that are higher than that. If we're looking at this now in terms of the all-time high to the relative low that we had back here on the 7th of April, high to low, you're consolidating below your 382. You've already interacted with your 0.5. It's very common, and I was actually just making a video on this talking about it. I think it was for HNT maybe that I was talking about this. But whenever you move up, it's very common to find resistance just above your 382 and then close below it, right? And that's essentially what you did. But if you do move all the way up to your 0.5, like you did here, it's in these kind of circumstances, especially with consolidating just below your 382, not interacting with the 236, it's in these circumstances that you can see breakouts that follow through the golden ratio. Oftentimes, I expect that you stop there on the first attempt, but I don't think you're going to do it on this one. I mean, at least you're set up to not do it. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't be totally crazy if you stopped at 2.3 cents, 2.6 cents, whatever that golden ratio zone is right there. But the measure move lines up perfectly with that 786, and this just makes a lot of sense based on the fibs, based on the bullish flag that we have here, based on the RSI. It makes a lot of sense that this is where you would go. You'd see a replicated move of this move here, and probably even something a little greater. It wouldn't surprise me if you stopped at 3.2 cents, but perhaps what you do is you grow all the way up to 3.8 cents. And I'm ready for SwiftCoin to move up, man. If SwiftCoin moves up, Onyx coin's going to move up. Everything's going to move up, right? Normally these two move together. So hopefully we get this sooner than later. I would say, just looking at the way that this is consolidating, I think we're moments away. It's definitely moved sideways. It's consolidated longer than I originally anticipated, but whatever. Sometimes that happens. Timing is not the easiest thing in the world of technical analysis. And if you're patient, I think as a lot of people learn probably in the months of March and going into like the beginning of this month here, over the past like couple months here, patience is a virtue, and patience pays in this game. It really does. 1 second. I got to get some more water. If I whisper, it's all good. It sounds normal. It just sounds like I'm whispering, right? But if I talk, it's like, it's scratchy and it dies out. I don't know why. I've got this like robotic voice right now. 4-hour time frame. Oh my goodness. You're not getting overbought, which that's not ideal. That's not what you want to see. But oftentimes with this rejection, you do find support at the 50. You've done that already. You're consolidating and moving up. I think we're getting ready for another attempt into the overbought zone. This is good news because on the 4-hour time frame, this develops pretty quickly, right? Sorry about that, guys. Over the coming days, over the next 3 days, it wouldn't surprise me at all if we were up in this area, right? Because it develops quickly. It doesn't take a lot of time for this to get into the overbought zone, right? It's not like the daily or the weekly time frame. You don't have to wait ages for it to happen. I mean, depending on how fast it pumps, it could happen quickly. But maybe it's as late as Tuesday, the 29th. It's the 26th now, so 3 days from now. Maybe we're up there. Maybe it's as early as tomorrow. You never know. But soon enough, I think that we will be up in that overbought zone. And when we get into the overbought zone, that'll be when we're making our next move, right? That'll be when we're making our next move. So I think we're close. You can see we're just waiting. I think if we were to go down, we would have done it already. And we can actually see here on the 4-hour a little bit more clearly. You are turning this beat around. You've got a nice kind of like soft shaped recovery here, kind of a flat top area of resistance here. Ascending lows with a flat top. We love that. That oftentimes does imply a breakout. And I think it's the weekend. You're bored. There's not a lot of volume. So not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Don't be surprised if before we move up, we move down. We could move back down to 1.35 cents, somewhere around there. And that's fine. I wouldn't be surprised if we did. Maybe today or tomorrow. The RSI can come lower. It's fine if it does. But it'd be quick, short-lived, and then we move up. Don't count on this because it doesn't have to happen. Again, it's the weekend. Anything can happen. But I'm assuming that within the next 3 days, if not tomorrow or around there, we're going to be pumping. We're going to be moving up again. So as far as that goes, I'm bullish on SwiftCoin. As far as the all-time highs go, let's talk about that real quick. So we haven't talked about that in a second. SwiftCoin here. I do believe SwiftCoin has multi-100x potential, right? That's something that we've believed in since it was worth. I mean, a lot less, man. A lot less than this even. Even back here, I forget when I started making. What was the first video that I made on SwiftCoin? Let's see. SwiftCoin. Let's see. Show all. I'm curious. And I might have made it in a request video, so this might actually not represent the first video I made on it, but we'll see. Swift blockchain. Oh no, yeah, because I did. Oh no, but this was is this actually SwiftCoin? I don't know if that's actually SwiftCoin. This might be the first video, I would actually say. And that was back in 2024 April, so a year ago. So yeah, we talked about it back over here. Okay. I forget what the point of that was. Maybe I was just curious. But we're going to talk about the all-time highs, right? Maybe that's where I got distracted, but we haven't talked about the all-time highs in a while. Maybe that's what it is. Anyways, looking at SwiftCoin here, $144 million, $2.5 million in volume. That is pretty low volume, but it is the weekend. You're being boring. You're moving sideways. I don't hold it against you, man. $144 million essentially right now. If we were to go higher, oh, that's what it was. I've been saying we're going to do a multi-100x. I was trying to figure out when the price was that I started saying that at. So that was down there. Okay, that's what it was. So about a little bit under half of what we got now. From a high to a low, that was for my vanity, is what that was. High to low, we're expecting to see something on the lines, I would say, by the end of the cycle of a market cap that's worth $10 billion, more than $10 billion, maybe as high as like $80 billion. I don't think it'll see that, but I think you could see that. I would think most likely we see a market cap around anything from 10 to $40 billion for SwiftCoin by the end of the cycle. Who am I to value these things? I could be wrong, but I've just, this is my third bull cycle. I've seen it happen time and time again. And with coins that are like this and this kind of market cap this far into the cycle, these kind of market caps are desirable. They're very high and it promotes a lot of growth. It's not the easiest thing to do, but they're attainable. And we see coins like this, we see market caps like this form every single cycle with various different projects. I think SwiftCoin is a project that deserves to be worth multiple hundreds of billions of dollars, but that might be something we set up in the next cycle. You know what I mean? So let alone tens of billions. I have no problem calling for a 10 to $40 billion market cap. Anything past 40 at this point is a little bit harder to see, but it could happen. It could happen. So we're going to go over all those targets right now. Okay, so based off of this most significant fib that we have, maybe we should use the OK. No, not the OKX chart. I thought it was OKX. Okay. Oh, hey, good. They got the all-time history now. Okay, good. Cool. Before it didn't. It was just on Coinbase, this chart here. But now, okay, so let's see. High to low. Not the all-time high, but this high to low here. You found resistance right at the golden ratio. I like it. This seems to be respected. So if we can see 100x from here, 100x would put you at a market cap of about $14.5 billion. Okay. That would also put you at a price of about $1.43. This is right in the money zone right here. And the money zone is an area that I take very seriously as resistance. It's very possible, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. It's very possible SwiftCoin could see a 62x. That's it. You stop at 88 cents. That's it. You don't get above $1. That's it. It's very possible. It's very possible you stop somewhere around $1 or even above there. Psychological resistance, right? That's a 74x. Still immaculate growth. These are the targets we're coming up with just to start. The minimum expectation for the average altcoin is a 30x. Just to start, we're talking about a 61x. So this thing I think has serious potential to outperform the average coin in the markets. It already has. It already has been outperforming, but I digress. Seeing 106, 107x almost right there at $1.55. That makes sense. You know, top of the golden of the money zone here, as I like to call it, 3113 to 2886. It's not the easiest price to achieve into the money zone, but I do think that you'll get there. I don't believe SwiftCoin is going to see a 31x. I do believe it's outperformed the average coin so far this cycle. It will continue to do so. That's kind of the norm. You don't see coins outperform coins in the cycle and then start to die off. They normally continue. The shining stars continue to shine, right? Unless they start their cycle earlier than everything else, like some coins, Caspa notably, then they probably die off earlier. Like a bright star, you burn out faster. You know what I mean? That's just kind of how it happens. But anyways. Looking at the monthly time frame, we are in a good setup right here, bouncing off the 50 as we did last time. I mean, look at this movement, right? Let's get this here real quick. From a low to a high, right there. We'll move this over here just for fun. All right, let's just see what that would bring. And then from a low to a high here, because you bounced off of that there, right? Let's see what that brings. That would bring you something like this, right? I think it's very possible, you guys. And as markets go on, as the bull cycle continues, you get stronger movements. I think it's very possible and very likely even that by the end of June, SwiftCoin is above 20 cents, right? The 2272, that's what this one, I think, and if you pay attention to what I just said, I think this next move will be stronger than the last move. The last move would take you here. If it's going to be stronger, the 2272 is right there. With the 2272, it's very common to go just above it. This really does, looking at it this way, actually helps validate the idea that we are going to see prices above 20 cents. I really doubt that we stop at anything less than 20 cents, okay? By the end of June. Getting back to by the end of the cycle, I'm sorry I jumped on you there, but I was looking at this and I was like, oh, that's a nice bounce off the monthly. I wonder what this could spell. Talking about end of cycle stuff though, June is not the end of the cycle. Q4 is the end of the cycle, right? This year, somewhere in November is what I'm thinking. I don't think that we stop at 45 cents. If we're going to be here by the end of June, that's what we got for the rest of the cycle. That doesn't make sense to me. That helps. That actually helps with the end of cycle stuff. Really, I do believe 88 cents to $1.55. Very strong chance of going here by the end of the cycle. Now, as far as anything above that, I don't know if this fib is going to help us, right? Because now we're talking about, I mean, maybe you could see something on the lines of like a 400x, 376x, something around here. Maybe I could see that happening. I mean, that would take you a little bit above a $40 billion market cap, but I could see this happening. But again, it's less common. I wouldn't hold my breath on it. I don't even know if I would bet on this, right? I wouldn't bet on this. I might even bet against it, is what I was trying to say. So it's not something that's completely impossible, but that is a lot of growth in a very short amount of time, and it is possible to happen. It's not something that you should not consider, but I definitely wouldn't hold my breath over it, right? $5.46, $8.30 maybe, but I think those will be prices reserved for next cycle, not this cycle. I really do like this 88 cent to $1.55. You could go a little bit higher. This fib, I don't expect it to be widely respected. You don't have to stop here just because there's a pit of black in between these doesn't mean you have to stop at either zone. You could stop in between. As you see deeper extensions, things are a little bit less respected. And right here, you know, well above $1.55, you got 224 on this money zone as well. So it depends, but I would say, and I mean right there, 550, 566 as well. So I would say a multi-100x is possible, but I would be more so believing that you see something between about 150x from here to about just over 100x from here by the end of the cycle. I don't have anything else that I want to say. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your voices. Drink some water. Put some lemon in it, maybe some honey. And I'll see you on the next one. All right.